Hi, I'm next weather meteorologist Lisa Meadows. We want to make you aware of a couple tornado warnings that have popped up. So notice here's where we have the Twin Cities area. Further off to the west, we've had this group of storms fire up just to the south of Alexandria, continue to press off to the east. Here's where we have St. Cloud. So let's zoom in a little bit closer. Red boxes are tornado warnings. Tornado warning is in place for Meeker County until 6:30 p.m. And also as we look to time this out as the storm continues to progress to the east. The timing for this making its way toward Harvey at 6:36 p.m. out into Litchfield at 6:49 p.m. So if you are in this red polygon, make your way to your safe place. You are underneath a tornado warning. That's the lowest level of the home. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. As many walls between you and the outside as possible. We also have the tornado warning until 6:45 p.m. for Meeker and Stearns County. You could see it here. Basically two different tornado warnings in place with one storm that's progressing from west to east. The timing for this making its way toward really Paynesville at 6:17, Eden Lake 6:28, making its way toward Eden Valley at 6:31 p.m. So these storms have been producing some straight line wind damage. Back off to the west in the Choctaw region, there were reports of power poles that were snapped. And so straight line winds coming out of these storms about 70 miles per hour have been reported. We also have the severe thunderstorm warning in the orange box here, and then obviously where we have the tornado warning. Now this is where the reflectivity does show the circulation in place. So those of you in Litchfield definitely have to be in your safe place, as this is where we're seeing that tornado warned storm start to press its way in. Obviously noticing some heavy rain, lightning in the Paynesville area. And those of you in Cold Spring, also in Watkins, underneath a severe or a tornado warning as this part of the storm continues to progress your way. Out to Kingston, also underneath that severe thunderstorm warning and the tornado warning that's continuing to press your way. Severe thunderstorm watch is in place for the metro area until midnight. It goes to 1 a.m. as we look out to the Duluth region. We're going to continue to monitor those tornado warnings off to the west, and as the storms continue to get closer to the metro area, we'll go ahead and cut in and let you know about any more of those tornado warnings as they persist or if new ones do develop.
WCCO and CBS News Minnesota Next Weather Alert.
Hi, I'm next weather meteorologist Lisa Meadows. We just want to keep you up to date with these tornado warnings that are in place. Here's St. Cloud. Further off to the southwest of St. Cloud is where we have those tornado warnings. So first of all, we take you to Meeker County. Under a tornado warning until 6:30 p.m. Notice the Litchfield region. If you are in Litchfield, then you definitely want to make your way to your safe place. You're underneath that tornado warning. I'll zoom in a little bit closer here, and we time this out for City 6:48 p.m. and notice this red polygon. This is where we have the tornado warning in place. Here's the heart of the storm. You can see the stronger reflectivity in place. This from Forest City starting to make its way toward Kingston. So from Forest City, Kingston, you're right ahead of the storm. So storm is making its way towards you. You want to make your way to your safe place as well. You can see, of course, where we have the red. That's where we have the heavy rain, a lot of lightning, the strongest part of the storm, the highest reflectivity. This is moving from west to east, and this is a secondary tornado warning for Meeker and Stearns counties. This goes until 6:45 p.m. And again, this is a radar indicated tornado. So far for both of these tornado warnings, they are radar indicated at this time. Still, the timing of this storm making its way toward Maine Prairie at 6:59 p.m., 7:02 when it comes to Powder Ridge. We just show you this velocity because red meets green. That's where you can see the circulation on radar. It depends upon the radar scan. Sometimes it can be too high to really see what's going on at surface level, but it gives us a different way of seeing the storm with that reflectivity. And notice where we do have this pushing its way through Eden Lake right now, and then we're going to continue to watch this go further off to the east. Want to remind you that the severe thunderstorm watch does include the metro area, and that means that we'll still have to watch for these storms. It goes until midnight for the metro, goes until 1 a.m. as we look further up to the Duluth region. So we'll continue to watch those areas as well. Main threats, we do have the tornado warning that's in place. Notice here the tornado locations for the tornado potential from the Twin Cities further off to the west. We also have a straight line wind threat, and some of those severe thunderstorm warnings that we have seen did go to 70 miles per hour. And if you think about an EF0 tornado, 65 to 85 miles per hour. So you could still get just as much damage from straight line winds. And this is what we're going to be watching as the storms continue to progress further off to the east. We'll also watch for some hail. The latest severe thunderstorm warnings have been bringing in the potential of seeing hail of $half size hail. All right, so the latest severe thunderstorm warning now is just off to the east, or excuse me, further off, yes, to the east of where these tornado warnings are in place. So we take you now to Annandale, also out into the Buffalo region. That is where we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that is in place. So that is just ahead of where we have the tornado warnings that are further off to the west. So we'll track that severe thunderstorm warning box. The counties it does include McLeod County, Carver, Wright, and Meeker counties. Looking at this storm going until 7 p.m. with this is the severe thunderstorm warning that I'm talking about now, just to the west of Delano and along Highway 12. We're looking at the potential of 1-inch diameter hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. The National Weather Service is putting the tornado possible tag thrown in there also, just because these storms have been tornado warned further off to the west. So those of you in these counties here until 7 p.m., this is the latest severe thunderstorm warning. We'll continue to watch that as these storms continue to progress toward the metro, and that will happen within the next couple of hours. We do anticipate those storms to push in. Good reminder, anytime we have the tornado warnings or the potential for those tornadoes, what to do in that event. So let's go ahead and see with Derek, if you can give us some reminders on that.
That's right, Lisa. First of all, during a tornado, when you're in your home, you want to go to the basement or interior room. You want to stay away from windows. If you're outside, which is typical on a summer night like this, you want to seek indoor shelter. Sheds and storage facilities are considered unsafe. If you happen to be driving at the time, seek indoor shelter if possible, low-lying ditch, or get down and cover your head. I do want to recap where we are right now with the tornado warnings. We have that tornado warning in effect until 6:30, so 3 more minutes right now for northern Meeker County. This again, as Lisa mentioned, a radar indicated rotation of a possible tornado and quarter-size hail. And then we also have a tornado warning in effect until 6:45, so about another 15 minutes or so for northeastern Meeker and southeastern Stearns County. What we know is about 4 minutes ago, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was near Watkins. That's about 18 miles southwest of St. Cloud, moving east at 45 miles per hour. Again, the concern, that rotation that's being shown on radar, as well as quarter-size hail. So keep in mind, it doesn't necessarily take a tornado. As Lisa mentions time and time again, you could also have some straight-line winds associated with these storms moving through that could lead to flying debris and trees coming down. So some important things to keep in mind here during this tornado. Lisa, I know you're gathering some more information now, not only on that tornado warning as it continues, or 2 tornado warnings, but also these severe thunderstorms that are being added to the east and southeast in advance of them.
Right, so the National Weather Service continues to watch this and decide whether or not it needs to be a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning in place. And again, the tornado warning is the red boxes. Severe thunderstorm warning would be those boxes here in orange, which is as close to the metro Twin Cities here as we look out to the Buffalo region and further off to the west. So these storms started off to the south of Alexandria. We had reports of some straight line wind damage from some of these storms back further just to the south of Alexandria, but the storms have continued to progress further off to the east. And now here's where we do have those 2 tornado warning boxes that are in place. So when it comes to the tornado warning boxes, again, we have to watch further out to Litchfield, and then just to the east of that is where we do have the Buffalo region. So let's get the latest when it comes to the tornado warning boxes. They're still in place for these counties, again, just off to the east of Paynesville, and the National Weather Service is reporting a little bit of damage also reported in Paynesville. Okay, so there's an update. The tornado warning box just to the south here has dropped. So right now, the only tornado warning that we have on the board at this time would be Meeker and Stearns counties till 6:45 p.m. for this radar indicated tornado. So those of you in this area underneath the tornado warning as that storm continues to progress further off to the east. When it comes to the severe thunderstorm warning that is in place, and that's the latest when it comes to the warnings, that is here across, again, where we have the Buffalo region. I'm going to go ahead and clear this out so we can get a better look at where this update of the severe thunderstorm warning is in place. So the severe thunderstorm warning kind of out ahead of this, Carver, McLeod, Meeker, and Wright counties until 7 p.m. And let's go ahead and loop this storm so you can see the progression. Mainly easterly movement with the storms, but we're also seeing as it pushes its way into Litchfield how we kind of bow this out. So what we're going to have to watch as these storms push closer to the Metro Twin Cities area, what we can have. Sometimes you've probably seen us do this. The storms push to the east, and then you get straight line winds sometimes coming out of these storms, and we can also get embedded tornadoes within that line of storms. So that is something we'll have to watch because the storms are going to continue to progress to the east and start to make their way into the metro area, which will be within the next hour or two. So that means if you are in the metro area, you're outside, want to start wrapping things up, make your way inside because we do have those warnings. So again, here's the latest with the severe thunderstorm warning that we do have. That storm goes until 7 p.m. 1-inch diameter hail, also watching that 60-mile-per-hour winds that we'll have to continue to see with this storm. I'm going to go ahead and zoom it in a little bit more, and we are going to time it out for some of these locations so you can have an idea as to when they'll be making their way into, especially those of you underneath the severe thunderstorm warning, like in Buffalo, just to the west of Delano. The timing with these storms, which are rolling through Litchfield right now, and again, this is where we have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in place. We're going to take this further off to the east and set it, bringing severe thunderstorm warning into French Lake at 6:48 p.m., taking you to Howard Lake at 7 p.m., and then Montrose 7:11, 7:12 for the Buffalo region. Now, you just saw that tornado warning box has at least shrunk a little bit, and that's due to the National Weather Service kind of updating that tornadic threat. They're a little bit closer. Those of you in the Kimball region, you are underneath that tornado warning, and that storm is just off to your west. So this is Stearns County underneath that tornado warning until 6:45 p.m. that will continue to watch this area with that one tornado warning there that is in place. I'm going to go ahead and zoom it out a little bit more so you can see the rest of the area where we're looking at this pocket of storms that are pushing its way mainly from the northwest further off to the southeast. So here's the metro area, still in the clear, not noticing any storms in place, at least in this region. Storms are further off to the northwest. Right now, the warnings that we have in place are the tornado warning that's kind of shrunk a little bit because that area that's under the threat of the tornado warning has gotten a little bit smaller. And then we have the severe thunderstorm warning that's in place. It's along Highway 12 once you just get a little bit closer, basically between Buffalo and Winstead. That's where the edge of that severe thunderstorm warning does end, near Montrose, basically. But again, that area is underneath that severe thunderstorm warning. That storm is moving to the east at 50 miles per hour, and the main threats with that storm are 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and also quarter-size hail that would be in place there. So that's what you're going to need to watch out for, at least for those locations. Let's go ahead and zoom it out a little bit more. I do want to mention back behind this, we still have some more of these warnings popping up, and I don't want people to forget about the fact that we have the flash flooding threat. There's a lot of moisture associated with these storms. You can feel it. It almost feels tropical with our dew points out there, so that means there's a lot of rain that could fall in place. So we do have this is a severe thunderstorm warning further out into Stevens County. I also want to highlight this is the flash flood warning. The blue polygon is a flash flood warning that goes until 8 p.m. for Stevens County, and that's just because we are seeing so much rainfall. 2 to 4.5 inches of rain have fallen in this warned area, and then anytime you get 2 more inches or so, you have that potential of seeing more of those the flash flooding issues continue. So let's take you back to the main area that we're watching, again to the northwest of the Twin Cities, the metro area. Not necessarily seeing the storms push in yet, but really within the next hour or so, I do think we'll see those storms. And let's go ahead and time out this latest severe thunderstorm warning that we do have in place. Again, this storm is moving further off to the east. So those of you in the Buffalo region, just to the west of Eleno, that's where you are looking at the severe thunderstorm warned storm making its way toward your area. As we look out to the timing, this would be Stockholm at 6:52, taking you to Victor at 7:05, and then Buffalo, you're looking at about 7:17. And when it comes to the main threats with this storm, again, the potential for straight line winds coming in at 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts or also quarter-size hail. That's where the severe thunderstorm warning is in place until 7 p.m. Let's check back when it comes to that tornado warning that is in place. Again, this tornado warn box has kind of shrunk a little bit because we are seeing the storm just now start to make its way. It's just to the west of Kimball still, but the tornado warning is still in place here for Stearns County until 6:45 p.m. And we can take a look at the velocity with this, and that allows us to see the rotation within the storm. Red meets green, basically. It's just to the west of Kimball, so we'll have to watch that area as we continue to see this storm that'll be pushing into your region here rather shortly. I'm going to go ahead and take it back to the central Minnesota region. We'll zoom out and we'll take a look at the reflectivity, and you can see where we have the most of the storms that are further off to the south and, to the east of Litchfield. So they've moved through the Litchfield region. They're just starting to make their way into Annandale, and again, we're starting to see that severe thunderstorm warning just start to make its way into the Buffalo region. When it comes to the severe thunderstorm warning, that again for Carver, McLeod, Meeker, and Wright counties, and goes until 7 p.m. This storm is just about 21 miles north of Hutchinson, and it's moving to the east at about 50 miles per hour. Main threat with this storm is 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. And the timing for this storm will continue to take it along Highway 12. So anyone traveling to the west along Highway 12 would be encountering this storm. It's going to make its way into Dassel here at 6:39. And we'll see Marysville at 7:05, Maple Lake 7:02 p.m., 7:15 when it comes to the Buffalo region. Looks like they're still holding on to that tornado warning. So there's an update to the severe thunderstorm warning box. They've basically dropped it along Highway 12 between Litchfield and Kakedo, but we still have this tornado warning that's in place to the east of Forest Prairie. So Stearns County until 6:45, they're holding on to that tornado warning. Let's zoom in a little bit closer to that tornado warning. and looking at the strongest reflectivity just to the west of Kimball. So we'll see that. Those of you in the Kimball region will notice the heavy rain. The lightning should be pushing in here rather shortly. And then we're going to continue to watch this storm as it moves further off to the east. When it comes to the latest severe thunderstorm warnings, it's just off to the western edge of the metro region, and we'll watch a lot of these storms that could produce some tornadoes. Right now, out of today, we've had one tornado warning in Appleton that was earlier this afternoon, much further off to the west. And so with these latest storms, the main threats that we'll be watching with them will continue to be the straight line wind threat, and then also looking at a few isolated tornadoes within these specific storms as well. Since they are starting to get closer to the metro area, we're going to have to watch to see them push into the western part of the metro coming up here shortly. And we can time out this last piece of this storm that's again pushing further off to the east. So those of you getting close to Maple Lake, again, 7:06 p.m. And then as we head into Buffalo, 7:15 p.m. And the severe thunderstorm warning again is for Carver, McLeod, Wright counties for 1-inch diameter hail and also 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Still holding on to that tornado warning that's in place further up just to the northwest of this region, just to the west of Annandale, where we still have that tornado warning in place. If you're in Kimball, you should be in your safe place as that tornado warned storm is making its way, seeing that high reflectivity pushing into the region as well. And again, this is a tornado warning that's in place for Stearns County until 6:45 p.m. It's a radar indicated tornado, and that's because of the severe thunderstorm possible of producing a tornado over the Kimball region. It's just about 15 miles southwest of St. Cloud. This storm is moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. And we can zoom out a little bit more and take a look at where we're anticipating these storms to progress off to the southeast. And that's where we're going to have to watch, because they could be making their way into the metro area. I would say previous forecast models were pulling them into the metro anytime around 7 or 8 p.m. And it's definitely a possibility that we could see them start to move on in here. Let's go ahead and check back in with Derek with some more information.
Yeah, we're starting to get some viewer photos, and to our director, if we can leave Lisa's mic up for a second, because she may want to explain some of what we're seeing in some of these viewer photos that we're about to show you right now. This first photo comes to us from Sally, and you've got some interesting clouds there, but obviously not storm clouds at all.
Nope, those would actually, looks like mammatus clouds, and those do occur usually when there is severe weather in the area, or things are unstable, I would say, in the atmosphere, but those do not cause any direct threat.
Yeah, and we've got a couple other photos from David in Toad Lake, so seeing some pretty incredible looking clouds here, either in advance or after these storms are moving through these locations. This is from Toad Lake. There's a second image there. This is a good time to remind folks that if you are able to safely take any photos or video, and that's the key, if you can do so safely, you can send them to us, WCCO.com/photos. A reminder that we still have a tornado warning in effect for about 3 more minutes here for northeastern Meeker and southeastern Stearns counties. These are, as Lisa's been reminding us, radar indicated rotations. That's the reason the National Weather Service in the Twin Cities is issuing these tornado warnings. It's based on a rotation that they're picking up on radar. Kimball is the area that we're watching very closely right now. Lisa's continuing to grab more data, and then in advance to the east of where that tornado warning is in effect there, we have a severe thunderstorm warning until 7 o'clock. And keep in mind that that severe thunderstorms can also produce very damaging winds, as well as we've seen with some of these storms, some quarter-size hail. A reminder that if you are in a tornado warning, and this is some key information to have even later tonight as these storms continue to move to the east, that if you're at your home, go to the basement or an interior room. Something like a bathroom may work. You want to stay away from windows. Maybe it's a closet or an area underneath the stairs. If you're outside, you want to seek indoor shelter. Sheds and storage facilities are unsafe. That is not where you want to go. And if you happen to be in the car, you're going to want to find indoor shelter as quickly as possible. Get into a low-lying ditch, get down, cover your head. These are some important keys if you find yourself in a tornado, and these are some fast-moving radar-indicated tornadoes, as Lisa's mentioned, moving at around 45 and 50 miles per hour. We're waiting to reach 6:45 to see if this tornado warning is allowed to expire for northeastern Meeker and southeastern Stearns counties. Lisa, you've noticed, though, that the area of concern has been shrinking over the last, say, what, 15 minutes or so? Right.
Take a look at it on radar here, and you can see we have the severe thunderstorm warning in orange, tornado warning off to the northwest of this, and I kind of brought the radar out a little bit more so you could see how the storm's kind of developed off to the west. To the south of Alexandria, you could see that stronger reflectivity that basically comes through here just past to the north of Wilmer, and then see how it kind of bows out a little bit more as it continues to progress further off to the east. And it does look like that tornado warning has been allowed to expire here. So we are done with the tornado warning at this time. We just have the severe thunderstorm warning that is in place. And again, it is for the storm that's just to the east of Forest Prairie, making its way through the south of Annandale into Buffalo, along Highway 12, and just to the west of Delano. The severe thunderstorm warning, again, is in place until 7 p.m. Carver-McLeod, Wright counties, 1-inch diameter hail, and also 60-mile-per-hour winds. And this storm, as we time it out, making its way further to the east. Again, anyone who would be driving along Highway 12 is going to notice it coming up here shortly. It does make its way toward Howard Lake at 7:05 p.m., Maple Lake 7:11 p.m., and Marysville at 7:13 p.m. We'll have to watch for any straight line wind damage, also quarter-size hail. And it is possible as these storms progress to the east that we could have a few spin-ups of tornadoes within them, as we have seen previously. I'll go ahead and zoom this out a little bit more, and we can take a look at the main pocket of storms, basically where they're forming off to the west, to the south of the Alexandria area, and then pushing off to the east. So at this time, the one severe thunderstorm warning box that we do have in place is to the west of Hennepin County. It's starting to make its way to the east, and we do have a new tornado warning that has just been issued here. So let's go ahead and check. That does include Buffalo and off to the south of Annandale. So here's the latest. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in to this region. This is where we have a new tornado warning that was just issued. Tornado warning for Hennepin, Sherburne, and Wright counties until 7:15 p.m. This is for a severe thunderstorm warning capable of producing a tornado over Maple Lake or 9 miles northwest of Buffalo. It's moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. So moving at 50 miles per hour. And let's go ahead and time this out for you so that we can make sure everyone within the tornado warn box knows the timing of when it could be making its way into your region. If you're underneath the tornado warning, you're in the red tornado warning box, or the counties that I just named, you want to make your way to your safe place immediately. Again, lowest level of your home, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Here's the latest timing of these storms, of this tornado warn storm. Taking you to Buffalo at 7:16 p.m., taking you to St. Michael at 7:30 p.m. So that's the latest with this new tornado warning that has been issued for this region. I'm going to go ahead and zoom it out, and we'll go ahead let's go ahead and put this in motion first so you can see the movement of this storm. Again, of course, mainly from west to east with these storms. The heavier rain now pushing through to the east of Forest Prairie. And when it comes to that tornado warning, that latest tornado warning issued by the National Weather Service goes until 7:15. It just clips Hennepin County, Sherburne, and also Wright counties. It goes until 7:15 p.m. And again, you have a little bit of time, but the storms are moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. So of course you want to make your way to your safe place immediately if you're underneath that tornado warning, which would be anyone within that red box to the south of Monticello. Also St. Michael, Annandale. Those of you in Annandale, the storm is just off to your west, so it'll be making its way here into your region coming up here shortly. Let's take a look at that velocity if we can see the stronger winds associated with this as it continues to progress further off to the east. Maybe not the best with the tornado warning box in place. So here's, as we put it in motion, and you can see that tornado warned and also severe thunderstorm warned part of the storm continue to progress to the east. Anyone along Highway 12, once you get past Delano going to the west, you would be underneath a severe thunderstorm warning until you get to Kato. When it comes to Buffalo, St. Michael, also Annandale, those locations are underneath that tornado warning. And then there are more severe thunderstorm warnings back behind this specific set of storms. This is just kind of the leading edge here that's making its way close to the metro region. So as we get closer to the metro, we just saw the latest tornado warning pop up here just off to the closest to at least the Twin Cities would be just barely clipping West Hennepin County. That's where we do have that latest tornado warning that's in place. And again, this tornado warning is for a storm that's moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. It's a radar indicated tornado, so it's a severe thunderstorm that's capable of producing a tornado, and the current location is over Maple Lake. Again, it's moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. The main hazard with this would be quarter-size hail or also the potential of seeing a tornado coming out of this as well. Let's go ahead and see, Derek, you have some video here?
Yes, we do. We've got some new video we want to show you along with the tornado threat and obviously some of the hail. We're seeing some really intense rain from these storms. So this is some video from Jenny in Benson, Minnesota, which I believe, let's see. Yeah, we can see the wind really picking up with some of those storms as they're making their way in, seeing some downpours. Doesn't look like there's any hail in that video, but this is Swift County along the Chippewa River here where we're getting this video from Jenny. A reminder that if you do want to send us safely any video or images, you can send them to us through WCCO.com/photos. If you have videos, if you have any pictures, again, we want to make sure that you're safe in doing so. If you're under one of the tornado warnings, you don't want to be outside trying to shoot images to send them to us. I want to make that very clear, because if you're in one of these tornado warned areas, you want to go to the basement or the lowest level of your home. You want to find an interior room. You don't want any windows near you. If you happen to be outside or know someone who is outside in one of these tornado warned areas right now, southeastern Sherburne County, central Wright County, northwestern Hennepin County, moving to the east at 50 miles per hour, you want to make sure that they find indoor shelter. If that means calling them to make sure that they got the alert on their phone, that's something you can do. You want to stay away from sheds and storage facilities. Those are unsafe. If you're in the car, you want to seek indoor shelter if possible. Otherwise, if you don't have time to do that, you want to be in a low-lying ditch, or you want to get down and cover your head in the car. Again, we do have the tornado warning for southeastern Sherburne County, central Wright County, and just the northwest corner of Hennepin County until 7:15. So we've got a little more than 20 minutes left with this storm right now, and it's moving fast, Lisa, and that's why the National Weather Service is trying to issue these ahead of time. So because we know they're so fast moving, we want people that could possibly be in the line of these severe thunderstorms capable of producing a tornado to be able to take those precautions now.
Let's get back to the radar. We do have, again, where we have the 2 tornado warnings that are in place. So we have the tornado warning here in the red. This is your tornado warning box that just barely clips Hennepin County. And then we have our latest severe thunderstorm warning box as well. Back behind these 2 warning boxes, there have been issued more severe thunderstorm warnings further off to the west. And then back behind this is where we have the flash flood warning in place. And that's something also to keep in mind. Here's where we have the Twin Cities, right? So these storms are pushing from west to east. Within the next less than an hour, these storms will continue to push into the Twin Cities region. So you have just about that time to make your way inside. But the latest when it comes to that tornado warning, we want to make sure you're aware of that. Of course, the tornado warning again for Hennepin, Sherburne, and Wright County that goes until 7:15 p.m. I'll go ahead and stop the radar here so that we can zoom in a little bit closer and see where the specific tornado threat is at this time. I can zoom in, and just to the south of Annandale, that's where we have the strongest, the highest reflectivity, where the strongest part of the storm is here, just across French Lake, and then pushing its way to the east. So those of you in Maple Lake, you are just to the east of this storm. This tornado warned storm will be making its way towards you shortly. You should be making your way to your safe place. Same as we look out to Buffalo, and then also as we look out to Monticello. We can time this out. I'm going to start just off to the back edge near Annandale and take this further off to the east with that tornado warning. And again, here's the locations that the timing of the tornado warned storm making their way into your region. Maple Lake, 7:11 p.m. Taking your way to Buffalo, 7:24 p.m. And then looking further off near Michael Albertville Senior High School, about 7:39 p.m. And the other thing that we can do is zoom out a little bit and look at the overall when it comes to these storms further off to the west of any updates of any of the severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place. We do have the 1 severe thunderstorm warning just to the south of where we have the tornado warning. So again, that tornado warning I just showed you, and then we have the severe thunderstorm warning that is near the Winstead area, the severe thunderstorm warning for Carver, McLeod, and also Wright counties. Again, that goes until 1 p.m. with a 60-mile-per-hour, or excuse me, that goes for 1-inch diameter hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. The main threat goes until 7 p.m. So coming up here shortly, and you can see the storms mainly in easterly direction with these, about 50 miles per hour is the movement of them. But notice this severe thunderstorm warning box does go down and include the Winstead region just because the storm continues to progress further off to the east. And so we can time out this storm for those of you just ahead of this that maybe aren't necessarily in the severe thunderstorm or the tornado warning box, but are in the severe thunderstorm warning box, so that you can have an idea of when that'll be making its way toward you coming up here shortly. The timing on this just off to the east would be Marysville at 7:06 p.m. and then Montrose coming up at 7:27 p.m. Let's go ahead and zoom out so we can show you all of the areas where we have the warnings that are in place. Again, the main region we're watching would be that tornado warning that we've continued to focus in on. But back behind this main pocket of storms, there are some severe thunderstorm warnings still in place as we look out from New London, going all the way back to Benson. And then here's where we have another severe thunderstorm warning and also a flash flood warning that's in place further off to the west. As I put this in motion, you can see the storm's movement mainly from west to east. And then also we can track the strongest storms that are mainly further off, again, to the south and east of this. So as we look further off toward the metro area, it does look like back behind this, further off to the west, there has been issued more severe thunderstorm warnings and also more tornado warnings as you look out to South Dakota here. So that's another thing that we'll be watching. Those of you in Montevideo, this is what we call upstream. It's to your west which means it would be headed to the east. That doesn't mean it would be tornadic by the time it makes its way to your region, but that just means that storms are headed your way. Either way, you're looking at storms that'll be pushing in. So here's the latest with the severe thunderstorm activity. When it comes to further off to the west, we have the Wilmer region, severe thunderstorm warning in place in this area. Again, that severe thunderstorm warning is in place for Candido, High Pope, Stearns, and Swift counties. You guys were previously under a warning, and then now it's a second warning, a different storm that's basically moving through your area. This is for 1-inch diameter hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds going till 7:45 p.m. Then we get closer to the metro area, and this is where we still have that tornado warning that is in place. We'll zoom in a little bit closer, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the radar so that we can see exactly how close it is to the region. It's in Annandale right now, and it's just to the west of Buffalo. So again, this is the tornado warning for Hennepin, just barely clips the northwestern part of Hennepin County, Sherburne, and also Wright counties. This does go until 7:15 p.m. when it comes to this tornado warning, and this is for a severe storm. It's radar indicated, so it's not confirmed on the ground, but it's radar indicated near Maple Lake, and it's moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. So those of you within the red polygon, which does include the Buffalo region, want to make sure you make your way to your safe places. This tornado warned storm will continue to move in. Let's go ahead and time this out. Again, taking this further to the east, the timing of the tornado warned storm does come in for Buffalo at 7:22, taking you to St. Michael at 7:41. Now we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued, so I'm going to clear what we have on the screen now, and I'm going to take this out so we can show the latest severe thunderstorm warning that does include more of the metro region getting closer to the Twin Cities. Here's Minneapolis. So here's where we have the latest severe thunderstorm warning box that is in place. Severe thunderstorm warning for Carver, Hennepin, and also Wright counties. This goes until 7:30 p.m. And this is for the storm near Delano, moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. The main threat with this storm would be 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and also looking at that potential for less than or about 1-inch diameter hail. So this is basically a severe thunderstorm warning box that's in place from watching Minnetonka to the west of Brooklyn Park, further off to the back toward the Buffalo region. The National Weather Service chose to use a severe thunderstorm warning box with this as opposed to a tornado warning. We'll see if that does get upgraded. It's a possibility as the storm does continue to progress to the east. But let's go ahead and time out this storm as it gets a little bit further to the east. Again, the movement of these storms moving from west to east, 45 to about 50 miles per hour. I still think straight line winds are something we're going to have to watch with these storms. There's an update with the tornado warning box. So let's get a little bit closer. Again, there's still the tornado warning in place for Hennepin and Wright counties, goes till 7:15 p.m. Still a radar indicated rotation, meaning that it's not confirmed on the ground with a tornado, but what they're seeing on radar, it could be a tornado in the storm pushing further off to the east. So anyone within Buffalo and also St. Michael underneath that tornado warning, that goes until 7:15 p.m. And when it comes to the severe thunderstorm warning, further off to the south from Waverly through Delano, all the way back to Plymouth, Corcoran, Hopkins, Mound. You guys are all underneath that severe thunderstorm warning. So let's go ahead and zoom this out, and then I'll go ahead and time out this storm. Looking at the movement of this, it's predominantly an easterly movement with these storms, but notice how you can see kind of them widen out a little bit. So that's why we have the severe thunderstorm warning that kind of bends down a little bit further off to the south. But I'll go ahead and stop this here, and let's go ahead and time this storm out so that we can get the timing of this as it continues to get closer to the metro area. And as we head toward the metro, the timing of this 7:17 p.m. This is that severe thunderstorm warned storm that we're tracking. So Delano 7:17 p.m., Greenfield 7:21. Independence 7:24, Maple Plains 7:30, Orono 7:36. Long Lake 738. This is the severe thunderstorm warn storm. The timing of that will be making its way. Obviously, you're looking at heavy downpours, lightning, which means you need to go inside anyways. But the severe thunderstorm warning aspect of this is the fact that there is the potential of this hail that's about 1 inch or lower in diameter, and then also the 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts that we'll have to keep a close eye on. So let's go ahead and let's loop this so we can watch as it pushes further to the east. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. I also want to remind everyone that we have the severe thunderstorm watch in place for all the metro going through midnight. So basically these storms that we have, that we're watching, that we have the one tornado warning in place from Buffalo stretching to the east, and then the severe thunderstorm warning that's in place. It's still anticipated that they'll be at those severe levels. They could be at the severe levels as the storm continues to progress into the Twin Cities and push further off to the east. That's why the severe thunderstorm watch is in place until midnight. Now, the timing of this, obviously, with it getting into about 7 p.m. right now, would probably see us drop those watch boxes before that time. But either way, anytime there's a watch in place, conditions are right for storms to produce the severe elements. Obviously, that is the case. The warning imminent. That means we're seeing the severe thunderstorm warning situation occur. So the latest when it comes to the tornado warning, of course, we're going to keep a close eye on that. Still have the tornado warning that is in place. This tornado warning, again, Hennepin and Wright counties goes till 7:15 p.m. And this, again, radar indicated. But if you're in Buffalo, this is just off to your west. Those of you in Maple Lake probably noticing some of the heavy downpours in place, and we'll continue to watch this storm again progress to the east. It's moving at about 50 miles per hour. That's the latest with the tornado warning storm on this one. So those of you in Hanover, St. Michael, Rockford, you're still close enough to that tornado warning within the tornado warning box that you would want to make your way to your safe place. Again, the lowest level of your home. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. When it comes to Hanover, we're timing this out for 7:47. So this is the one tornado warning box that we have in place, the one tornado warning that we have. And I can zoom this out so you can see where we do still have some of those severe thunderstorm warnings that are continuing to pop up. The one severe thunderstorm warning that we have close to the metro, because this is the severe thunderstorm storm is still just to the west of Buffalo. So it's just starting to make its way into the western edge of this severe thunderstorm warning box. Those of you in Delano, storm's just on your doorstep, starting to push its way in. And then we can time this out for you as it makes its way to Corcoran. And again, what you're watching with this severe thunderstorm warning would be Carver, Hennepin, and Wright counties underneath that severe thunderstorm warning. It goes until 7:30 p.m. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and 1-inch diameter hail. This is where we have the severe thunderstorm warning in place in the orange. This is where we have the tornado warning in place. Delano, Mound, Corcoran, Hopkins, those are the locations underneath that severe thunderstorm warning. And we can time this severe storm where you're looking at that potential of hail. I do think the straight line wind issue is going to be something that we'll have to keep a close eye on, more so as the storms continue to progress further off to the east. It does take its way into Maple Grove coming up here at 7:46 p.m., taking you to DuPont at 7:28 p.m. And it looks like we're still seeing this tornado warning in place here. Those of you in the Buffalo region, it's moving through your area here. So this tornado warning again for Hennepin, Wright counties till 7:15 p.m. Again, it's radar indicated, but this storm is moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. And let's see if we can get a little bit closer to where the highest reflectivity, the strongest part of the storm. Those of you in Buffalo definitely need to be in your safe place. This is where we have the core of the storm starting to push in. But again, if you look out ahead of the storm, we still have St. Michael underneath that tornado warning as well. Let's go ahead and check back in with Derek for an update.
All right, so we still have that tornado warning that Lisa is showing us right now until 7:15. We could also see some quarter-size hail with this storm. So if this is a situation where you're in advance of it and you can pull your car into the garage, it might be a good thing to do right now. Also, if you're under this warning right now for Wright and northwestern Hennepin counties, you want to make sure you get to the basement or an interior room. You want to stay away from windows. One of the things you may want to be able to do right now is start streaming us on the CBS News app, WCCO.com. Get into that safe place and you can continue to get updates from Lisa. I believe we have some footage from some of the storms rolling through in Candy-Ojai County. This is on Diamond Lake. You can see very difficult to get much visibility there as those storms rolling through. You saw a few flashes of lightning there as the storm came through there around Diamond Lake earlier this evening. So that tornado warning remains in effect here until 7:15. That's why we are still on the air right now. We are aware that a new episode of Big Brother is airing right now on CBS. If we end up having to, because of safety of our viewers, not show you Big Brother tonight, we will have an overnight re-airing that we'll let you know about on WCCO News as well as WCCO.com. So if that's something you're concerned about, obviously right now our concern is for the safety of our viewers as we have a tornado warning active in our area right now and moving to the east. Lisa, what new information have you been able to gather?
We're still tracking the tornado warning. Again, Hennepin and also Wright County. This is where we have, okay, so there's an update to this is why the National Weather Service is so great. They update this and it really helps to pinpoint the area. So you're getting the tornado warning if you're really within the threat area, right? So here's the tornado warning box in the red here, just to the east of Buffalo at this time. So we'll continue to see this tornado warning. It still, of course, does include Eclipse Hennepin County here and also still includes just the eastern part of Wright County until 7:15 p.m. Again, it is a radar indicated tornado that we have pushing from west to east, and we're still seeing this at about, it's moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. So it's a fast moving storm coming up here, making its way further off to the east. We can zoom in a little bit closer, but basically if you're within that red tornado warning polygon, that is where you want to make your way to your safe place. So this does include the Rockford area. This is the tornado warning. St. Michael also for Rockford. Here's Buffalo. Buffalo is now seeing that storm starting to push in, and then we're going to continue to watch this push further off to the east. I also want to mention that we have the severe thunderstorm warning that's in place. So here's where we have the Twin Cities, Minneapolis region just off to the west, Plymouth, Hopkins, Mount Delano. This is where we have the severe thunderstorm warning box. So basically in the metro, two warnings. One is radar indicated tornado. One is the severe thunderstorm warning that's in place. We're starting to see an update with the radar picture as the storm continues to push further off to the east. And I'm going to keep the lightning turned off on this just so that you can see the storm. There's enough lightning with this where you wouldn't even be able to see the reflectivity, but we can get a better look at this storm as it pushes further to the east and where we have the strongest reflectivity in the heart of the storm and where we have, again, this tornado warning. So again, the red polygon is a tornado warning. Hennepin and Wright counties goes until 7:15 p.m. This is for the storm moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. The storm's mainly looking at 1-inch diameter hail and also, of course, that tornado warning aspect. So anyone within St. Michael or just off to the south, you're underneath the tornado warning. You can see the stronger reflectivity that is in place with this. Just to from the Buffalo region further off to the east, Hanover, you're going to be noticing the heavy rain start to push in. You're also in that tornado warning box, and same deal as we look further out to Rockford. Now let's check in with that severe thunderstorm warning that is still in place. This is the orange severe thunderstorm warning box from Buffalo. Does include Delano along Highway 12 to Hopkins, Plymouth, Eden Prairie. We have Mound here. These are the locations underneath the severe thunderstorm warning just to the west of the Twin Cities. And this is Carver, Hennepin, and Wright counties. This goes until 7:30 p.m. They do have the tornado possible tag. And the thing to watch with a lot of these storms is as they push to the east, we're going to watch for that 60-mile-per-hour wind. Some of these storms off to the west were 70-mile-per-hour wind threat. That is also a possibility. 1-inch diameter hail. But as the storms even push into the Twin Cities, even if we do get a line with this, it is possible we could get embedded tornadoes within those storms. So that is why at times you may see an overlapping tornado warning or also severe thunderstorm warning. So basically, Delano, you're probably hearing the storms start to push through your region, heavy rain. A lot of lightning with this. And again, we're watching for the 60-mile-per-hour winds or also looking for the 1-inch diameter hail as well. Let's see if there's any storm damages. So we've had some reports much further off across the western part of the state with some storm damage. Derek, I believe you also have some reports.
Yeah, that's from Candy-Ojai County. We're starting to get some images in of some of the damage there. This is from New London. You can see we're going to show you some images of trees down here. This was sent to us by viewer Torresy. I hope I have your name right there in Candy-Ojai County of some of the trees down. You can see some of the clouds. You can tell that that tree moved quite a bit from the winds that came through in the storms there. Do we have any other images that she sent us? Yeah, a few more, so you can see bringing that tree up from its roots. Again, these were shot after the storm moved through, and that's very key that we don't want you to, of course, put your life or anyone else's in risk by getting out during the storms themselves. But if you feel comfortable safely to get those, you can send them to us, WCCO.com/photos. So after a tornado moves through your area, some good reminders here. First, you want to stay informed. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch until midnight for a majority of the WCCO viewing area. So just because one set of storms has passed, it doesn't mean that you're completely in the clear. We could see multiple rounds of storms tonight. Important to make sure you're contacting family. Texts and social media are going to be more reliable than phones if there's any kind of issue or outage. And then assessing damage. When you choose to go outside, you want to be wearing sturdy shoes. Call about downed power lines. Stay out of any buildings that might be damaged. In many cases, it might be best, as we are going to be looking at multiple rounds of storms in some locations, to wait and do that sort of assessment later, unless it's absolutely necessary or an emergency. And then also, obviously, important to help your neighbors. Offer first aid if someone is injured in any of these types of storms that we see here tonight, because keep in mind, not only are we talking about these tornado warnings where we're seeing rotation indicated by radar, but straight line winds could be a concern with these storms that come through. As we just showed you there in Candy-Ojai County, some trees down in New London. So just make sure that you're staying as safe as possible tonight. You can, of course, also, because there could be some power outages with trees down, you may want to switch from your TV to CBS News Minnesota, which you can stream at WCCO.com on your phone. If you have our app, that's another way that you can watch us live as we continue to bring you updates. And Lisa, I know we're still following that tornado warning. Is that still in effect right now?
It's dropped.
It just dropped.
Yep,
okay.
Very important. So let's take a look at the current radar picture. We do have some of those severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place, but here's where we did have that tornado warning that has been dropped. We now have one severe thunderstorm warning that is in place. It is across the Twin Cities, just to the west of the Twin Cities. We do have this severe thunderstorm warning. I want to make sure you're aware of this because this is moving from west to east. Severe thunderstorm warning for Carver, Hennepin, Wright counties till 7:30 p.m. for the 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and also small hail. Storm is moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. It's moving through Delano, making its way across Highway 12. But again, the tornado warning at this time has dropped. So we're going to go ahead and send you back to programming. And then if we do get more tornado warnings, or also if these severe thunderstorm warnings continue to progress, we will cut in and let you know.
This is a WCCO and CBS News Minnesota Next Weather Alert.
Thank you for joining us here on CBS News Minnesota. We have another severe weather update for you as the storms are starting to push into the Twin Cities right now. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in place. So here's Minneapolis. Our station is in downtown Minneapolis, so we are just now hearing the wind. We're starting to see the edge of this storm push in. Severe thunderstorm warning is in place here for Anoka, Dakota, Hennepin, and also Ramsey counties for 1-inch diameter hail and also 60-mile-per-hour winds. This goes until 8:15. Storms are just the leading edge is making its way into the Minneapolis region right now. Just off to the east of Plymouth is where we have some of this heavy rain. So let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit closer so we can take a look at this storm as it continues to get closer to downtown Minneapolis. Of course, the red is where you have the stronger reflectivity, which means the heavier rain, a lot of lightning associated with this. And we're watching this in Columbia Heights. Crystal probably rocket out there with some of these storms. And again, here's Minneapolis, so it's just pushing in. I'll zoom out a little bit more so we can see the direction with this. So the storms are moving predominantly with an easterly direction, and the tornado warning storms that we previously were watching were about 50 miles per hour. So this severe thunderstorm warning is calling for the storms 35 miles per hour. That's what we have with the storm speed of this storm. But you can see where we have the severe thunderstorm warning polygon here. It does include Bloomington through St. Paul up near White Bear Lake. And as we go ahead and stop the loop, we're going to zoom in a little bit closer here. Heavy rain, a lot of lightning should be pushing into the Minneapolis region coming up here shortly. You're probably noticing it in Brooklyn Park, and it's going to get tough to drive due to the heavy rain along 394 here between Minneapolis going out just to further off to the west to 494 as well. I'm going to check in with the potential for hail with this because, of course, that's nothing that we want to be dealing with. But the radar can actually give us an estimate when it comes to the hail size. And so when we click on basically a tool that we use to estimate hail size, it can show us what we're anticipating either upstream to the west or what could be making its way closer to the Twin Cities. So notice in the heart of the storm where we have the strongest reflectivity, hail size is estimate about 1 inch. So we are looking at about quarter size hail, and that does prompt a severe thunderstorm warning whenever you have 1-inch diameter hail. That brings in that potential for severe thunderstorm warning, and that is in place, at least here. What we're going to look at when it comes to the reflectivity here with this storm, again, here in the Twin Cities, getting close to Minneapolis, excuse me, that's where we're starting to see this storm push in. I'm going to zoom it out, and I'm going to go ahead and take you through the timing of the storm. Now, again, it's predominantly moving to the east, but the severe thunderstorm warning box does stretch further off to the southeast as well. Here in downtown Minneapolis, this is where our studio is. I'm starting to hear the heavy rain fall at this time. All right, so the timing, Shoreview, 7:53, so about 2 minutes. Roseville, 7:58. Taking you to Vadnais Heights at 8:11. St. Paul, 8:28 p.m. is when we have the potential of the severe thunderstorm warned storm that could be pushing into your area. So looking at the potential of obviously a lot of lightning, heavy rain, and the main threat again with this, we're watching the 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and also 1-inch diameter hail. I'm going to go ahead and clear this, and we'll go ahead and back up to the west where we have more storms that are actually in place. And this is just off to the west of the metro region. We had a previous round of storms come through. Now we have a second round coming in, and this round is stretching from Annandale all the way through Gaylord. There is one severe thunderstorm warning in place with this. This is for Carver, McLeod, and Meeker, Wright counties. I know we already had a tornado warning, or excuse me, a severe thunderstorm warning there earlier. Second severe thunderstorm warning, a different storm is moving through. This is for 1-inch diameter hail, also less than 50-mile-per-hour wind, so probably more so the 1-inch diameter hail that we're watching. Let's go ahead and check in with the hail tool to see what exactly we're tracking with this. So that's why there's the severe thunderstorm warnings in place. Notice the golf ball size hail. So here's Highway 12, and let's get a little bit closer here. Just from north of Collinwood, between Highway 12 near Collinwood. This is where the golf ball size hail is what our radar estimate is. So that's likely why we have that severe thunderstorm warning that's in place there. I'm going to go back to the reflectivity with this. And then we're going to go ahead and see the severe. You can see, look at this pink. So this is where really starting to get a higher reflectivity, stronger part of the storm in place here between Collinwood and Highway 12. And so that's where we have the hail that we're going to have to continue to watch. And this storm again is moving to the east. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning. Goes until 8:15 p.m. The storm is over Dassel, about 13 miles north of Hutchinson, and it's moving to the east at 45 miles per hour. So those of you in Howard Lake, Cato, the storm will be pushing in here shortly, and I can go ahead and time that out for you as well. So let's zoom out and let's time out. I'm going to take it from the edge of the strongest reflectivity that we're seeing here and take it out along Highway 12 past near Howard Lake. So the timing of this storm moving into Middleville 8:06, taking you to Victor at 8:16, taking you to Montrose at 8:36 p.m. Again, this is where we have the severe thunderstorm warning box that is in place along Highway 12. Again, this is a second storm. This is another storm that developed back behind the previous severe thunderstorm warning storms. So let's go ahead and zoom this out. And let's take a look a little bit closer due downtown into the Twin Cities area. Go ahead and let me know when we're going to take it on to CBS on WCCO so I can welcome our viewers there so they can get an update. All right, so we're going to go ahead and give the WCCO viewers on television also an update along with you guys joining us here on the stream. We're ready.
This is a WCCO and CBS News Minnesota Next Weather Alert.
Hi, meteorologist Lisa Meadows here. Need to give you an update of a severe thunderstorm warning here right in the heart of the metro here in the Twin Cities area. So in Minneapolis, this is where our studio is. It's in downtown Minneapolis. We're hearing the heavy rain in place and we're seeing the strong reflectivity. Severe thunderstorm warning is in place for Anoka, Dakota, Hennepin, and also Ramsey counties. This goes until 8:15 p.m. Looking at 60-mile-per-hour winds and also 1 3/4 inch hail coming in out of this. And I think that's what we're going to have to keep a close eye on with this storm. I can take us a little bit closer to the storm so you can get a better idea of exactly where the storm and the heavier rain is falling. Again, right in downtown Minneapolis. That's where we are having the heavy rain. We're noticing it here in the studio as well. Roseville, you're just to the east of this. Storm is moving to the east at 35 miles per hour. And golf ball size hail would be the threat. If you have the opportunity to get your car safely under cover, I would do so because there was golf ball size hail reported with this storm that was in Plymouth, and now it's progressing into downtown Minneapolis. So we have an imminent hail threat with this storm. For those of you in Minneapolis, those of you in Roseville, it's just off to the west. Also, as we look out to St. Louis Park as well. And I can tell you a radar estimate of that hail. We have a tool that can show us what we're estimating with the hail. And you can see it's right in the heart of Minneapolis. The radar is estimating golf ball size hail. Again, there was a report of golf ball size hail with this storm back closer to Plymouth. So this is the area where we have the golf ball size hail. If you can, of course, you want to make sure you're indoors. It's a severe thunderstorm warning, but also it's a threat to property when you have that golf ball size hail as well. Let's go and take you through this severe thunderstorm warned storm. Again, it's right here in the Twin Cities. The severe thunderstorm warning is for Anoka, Dakota, Hennepin, and Ramsey County. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, again, that 1 3/4 inch hail until 8:15 p.m. Here's where we have the storm basically along 394 to the north. This red is where we have the stronger reflectivity in place. So it's just now making its way close to the Minneapolis region. And I can time this out for us. Again, the storm is predominantly moving to the east at 35 miles per hour, but this is the severe thunderstorm warning box. And this does include Bloomington, Mendota, also looking out to St. Paul. So you guys are underneath the severe thunderstorm warning. You have a storm headed your way that has a history of producing golf ball size hail. We also have to watch for some strong straight line winds out of this storm as well. It's just off to your west. And here's the timing of this storm. I'm going to go ahead and take it from here in Minneapolis, just lining it to shore view, and again stretching it out further to the east so we can get some times for the storm moving into your neighborhood. As we look out to Roseville, 8:04 p.m., taking you to Gloucester at 8:27 p.m. Gladstone, 8:30 p.m. Those of you in North St. Paul, storm looks to be making its way into your region at 8:37 p.m. And again, I think the main threat that we're going to have to watch with this storm will be the hail associated with it. This storm has a history of producing golf ball size hail back into Plymouth. That's a report that we did have from this storm. And again, it's moving into downtown Minneapolis right now. Let's zoom this out a little bit more, and I'm going to go ahead and put it in motion so you can see the storm as it continues to push through. Just really about 15 minutes ago, all the severe thunderstorm warnings were off to the west. This one just popped up, and the severe thunderstorm warning box was issued because of the severe thunderstorm because of the storm moving through Plymouth, dropping golf ball size hail. Once you hit 1-inch diameter hail or larger, that's when a severe thunderstorm warning is usually issued, and that's more than likely why this is in place. So this storm producing the potential for golf ball size hail to the south of Coon Rapids. It's pushing into downtown Minneapolis right now, and it's pushing further off to the east. So again, this is where we have the severe thunderstorm warning. If you are in downtown Minneapolis, if you're in St. Paul, you have, if you're in St. Paul, you might have time to get your car, say, in the garage, but it's probably too late if you're further off to the west. You just want to make sure you stay indoors because, again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning. And again, we're looking at mainly golf ball size hail with this storm. It's pushing through Minneapolis right now. Actually, Derek, I believe you have some pictures of hail.
Yeah, that's right. We have some smaller hail than what we saw here, some quarter-size hail that came through in Litchfield, which is in Meeker County. This is when we had one of the tornado-warned storms earlier this evening. So you can see that about quarter-size hail coming down. There's the reference point right there, Alina in Litchfield, there in Meeker County, showing that to us. If we can, I want to take a live look at the intensity of this severe thunderstorm that's right now over Minneapolis through some of the cameras. The Twin Cities. You can tell, obviously, a lot of wind, a lot of lightning, and of course, it's we can hear some of the hail actually falling outside our studios right now, obviously, as well. This is one of the cameras looking down just outside our studio right now. You can see no one is outside. About 30 minutes ago, this exact area just outside our studios, we were actually seeing just some people out enjoying a couple of drinks outside. Now everyone has done the right thing and moved inside, and you can see the movement of the clouds right now, along with all of that lightning that we're seeing. It's harder to tell if there's any precip as we take a look at this camera, but as if you look off into the distance, you definitely see a lot of lightning now as we continue to have this severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 8:15. The biggest concern for the moment, Lisa, is this golf ball sized hail and then any winds that we see that could obviously do damage to trees in a very short period of time.
Right. So the golf ball size hail is because of the severe thunderstorm warning issued in Plymouth. There was reports of golf ball size hail. Storm has progressed from west to east. Of course, the storm's moving to the east about 35 miles per hour, and that has prompted the severe thunderstorm warning for Anoka, Dakota, Hennepin, and also Ramsey counties. This goes till 8:15 p.m. We're noticing here in downtown Minneapolis, we have the heavy rain. We also are hearing some of the thunder, and the core of the heavy precip is really pushing through downtown right now. And we can zoom in a little bit closer. I want to check in with that hail to see the radar estimate, because that's kind of what prompted expected this storm when it moved through Plymouth, the golf ball size hail. And now you can see the highest reflectivity, which means the heavy rain and also the potential for hail between Roseville and Minneapolis right now. Also probably just to the east of I-35. So when it comes to our radar estimate of hail size, that's, like I said, where that core of the heavier hail is anticipated. We're still looking at the golf ball size hail radar estimate from Roseville back to Minneapolis. Storm moving west-east. So those of you in the St. Paul area, you are basically waiting for the storm to move in toward you, and you have the potential of golf ball size hail making its way to your doorstep coming up here very shortly. I'll take us back to the reflectivity, and then I'll go ahead and time it out again. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more so that we could see more of the severe thunderstorm warning that's in place. Again, this red area, the strong reflectivity, that's where we have the heavy rain, the lightning, and also that core of hail. Just now making its way into the St. Paul area. Now, I just showed you that hail, the hail estimate, and it was not into the St. Paul area. It was back between Roseville and Minneapolis. But again, this is moving west to east. Those of you in St. Paul are just now going to be hearing the rain start to push in, the heavy rain start to move into your area. And then back behind this, coming up here shortly, is where we have that hail potential. So as I loop this here for, we could loop it for about the past 45 minutes, and then you can see the progression of this really along 94 from west to east, but the last radar scans take this down just to the east of Richfield. Heavy rain starting to push into Roseville, and then again into the St. Paul area. And I'm going to zoom this out just to remind everyone, in case you're just now tuning, we have the severe thunderstorm warning that is in place across both Minneapolis and Twin Cities right now. Anoka, Dakota, Hennepin, and Ramsey counties. This is for the CSS observed. That's because there was golf ball size hail out into the Plymouth area. That issued the severe thunderstorm warning. This box right here, and the storm is currently moving through Minneapolis. It's on its way to St. Paul, and this is what you have the potential of seeing in St. Paul. Is this hail. Notice our hail estimate is still coming in with the golf ball size hail potential. And again, that is what we had observed further off to the west. And so we'll go and take it back to reflectivity so that you can see the storm. And then also we can zoom in a little bit more and you could see the timing. Really, for you in St. Paul, it's basically right on the doorstep. North St. Paul just starting to push its way. And it's this red is where we have the heaviest rainfall with this. And then the hail, the core of the hail, just back off to your west. And again, this is moving west-east, so this golf ball size hail, the potential for golf ball size hail making its way towards St. Paul coming up here shortly. When it comes to the timing of this storm, we'll time it out. Again, the eastern edge of the severe thunderstorm warning does go just to St. Paul, and then, or North St. Paul, excuse me, and then back off further to the west. So we can still time this out, we'll just go and take it from to the east of Bloomington and then along St. Paul and further off to the east. For those of you in North St. Paul, you're basically already experiencing the heavy rain pushing in. And then here's the timing on some of these storms for those of you just to the east of this. The timing for Maplewood, 8:28, Oakdale, 8:27, taking you to landfall at 8:36, Sunfish Lake, 8:44 p.m. Right now, Sunfish Lake right on the edge of the severe thunderstorm warning. And let's go ahead and take a look at that hail, because again, the main thing that we're going to have to watch with this would be hail. So the main hail core with this via radar, the estimate is from Roseville off to the south, just starting to make its way closer to St. Paul. Let's take it back to the reflectivity. Again, this is where we have the severe thunderstorm warning that is in place right across the Twin Cities right now. And that severe thunderstorm warning is for that hail. I will back it up because there are locations to the west that also have more warnings in place. We were previously on air for tornado warnings and also severe thunderstorm warnings in the West Metro. We got off air because those did expire, but we did have we had more storms basically pushing, so I don't want you to get confused. It's another storm that has pushed in back behind the line that already came through. So as we get a little bit closer to Highway 12 here, this time it's still to the west of Delano, Winstead, Waverly, another severe thunderstorm warning that is in place there. This severe thunderstorm warning is for Carver, McLeod, and Wright counties. Again, 1-inch diameter hail, and this goes until 8:15 p.m. We do have a camera looking out to St. Cloud. Looking out to St. Paul. Let's go ahead and see if we can take that and get an idea of what we're seeing. We already showed you the Minneapolis cameras. We're noticing the storm that's pushing through now. Here's the video, of St. Paul, seeing those storms that are pushing in, which would line up with what we're seeing on radar and would make sense as to why there's a severe thunderstorm. This is a live camera out into St. Paul, which would make sense there as to why they did issue that severe thunderstorm warning. Right now, St. Paul is underneath a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's go and take you back to radar. I want to show you the latest severe thunderstorm warning. So the previous warning that I just showed you from Minneapolis, this has dropped just to the west of Minneapolis. New severe thunderstorm warning does include the St. Paul area, Dakota, Hennepin, Ramsey, and Washington counties underneath the severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45 p.m. 1 3/4-inch hail, the main threat with this storm. This storm is moving to the east at, again, 35 miles per hour. And we're watching for that threat of golf ball size hail or 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So in St. Paul, we showed you that live camera. That's where you're seeing the heavy rain in place, probably strong winds thrown in there as well. Those of you in Mendota, storms are starting to push in from your west as we speak. The other locations underneath the severe thunderstorm warning, the storm is headed your way, would be out into Woodbury, also for Stillwater, Afton, Denmark, and also for Cottage Grove. So storms are just to the west of Woodbury, starting to make their way into that region. Let's check back in with that hail to see hail estimate, to see where that core of hail is. It is still just along I-94 to the north between the Twin Cities. So hail estimate, golf ball size hail. This was reported in Plymouth, probably helped prompt the severe thunderstorm warning in place. So we have the golf ball size hail via radar estimate between the Twin Cities, between Minneapolis and St. Paul. Storm is moving to the east at 35 miles per hour. If you're in St. Paul, you have the potential of golf ball size hail making its with this storm coming in very shortly. The other thing we're watching is this will continue to push to the east, and the warning box goes all the way out to the east, out into the Afton region. So let's go and time that out here as I take you back to the storm reflectivity. Again, I turned off lighting. There's just too much lighting. You can't decipher where the storm is, but the red is where you do have the heavy rain in place. And again, watching for where you have that hail and that golf ball size hail, the main thing that we're going to watch. So I'm going to zoom this out, move this over so that you can see the leading edge of the storm from Stillwater back from Woodbury all the way taking you back to Inver Grove Heights. Here's where we have the severe thunderstorm warning for this storm moving to the east at 35 miles per hour. Main thing we're going to watch with this, you have the potential of golf ball size hail if you are in the severe thunderstorm warned box. Notice Minneapolis is just on the back edge. These are two different severe thunderstorm warnings, both prompted probably because of the golf ball size hail off to the west. Minneapolis, you're pretty close to being in the clear. Storm's moving to the east, right? So you're basically on the back side of this severe thunderstorm warning. This is a secondary severe thunderstorm warning that has been prompted because of this. And if you are ahead of this, basically if you're to the east of this, then I will go ahead and time this storm out for you so you know when it'll be moving into your area. Of course, you would want to make your way inside no matter what, just because anytime you have lightning, you're close enough to the storm that you want to make sure that you move indoors. But with this particular storm, we have to watch for that potential of 1-inch diameter hail, and I showed you that hail core previously. So again, the timing for Woodbury, 8:24 p.m., Sunfish Lake, 8:18 p.m., Hudson coming in at 8:41 p.m. So we'll continue to watch these storms push further to the east. Really within the next 15 minutes or so, the storms will continue to push into your region. I'm going to go ahead and clear this. I do want to check back in with that hail signature, because you notice that we had kind of two pockets of hail. One thing, latest radar scan showing that the hail intensity is actually diminishing. Now, this is estimate via radar, but it was previously green, which was golf ball, right? Now we're dropping back closer to the quarter size. Good news for those of you in the St. Paul area, still underneath the severe thunderstorm warning, but you're taking that estimated hail size down closer to a quarter. Another pocket of hail estimate here, pea-size hail, as we look off to the west of Egan. And again, this storm is pushing to the east, so this is really riding right along that I-94 corridor from St. Paul. If you're in Woodbury, it's going to be making its way into your area coming up here very shortly, and it does stretch far enough north to where you're close to the Birchwood Village region as well. Taking you back to the storm reflectivity, zooming out a little bit more and showing that severe thunderstorm warning still in place again for Dakota, Hennepin, Ramsey, and Washington counties. It says observed because there was 1-inch diameter hail observed in the Plymouth region from the same storm, prompting the severe thunderstorm warning as it did roll through Minneapolis. Now it's to the east of Minneapolis. Now it's here in St. Paul. This is your best time frame, your best chance for getting any large hail in your area. This storm continued to push to the east at 35 miles per hour, so that does mean that we're looking at Stillwater, the potential for those storms pushing in, and also that severe thunderstorm warn storm that is after you're just barely on the edge of the severe thunderstorm warn storm. So if this continues to diminish in intensity, then that would help, and you wouldn't have to worry as much about that hail core pushing through, but you're still in near the warned area. So I would say still want to take those precautions. I'm going to clear this and I'm going to take us back out. We're going to check in. So right now, the one severe thunderstorm warning that is in place across the metro would be across St. Paul. Further off to the west, we have a few more warnings still in place. Flash flood warning. Another thing, even if there isn't a warning in place per se, anytime you get reports of a lot of this heavy rain in the urban areas, then we get the flash flood warning that gets prompted. But sometimes it has to start happening before we can even get those warnings. So that's another secondary threat, especially as these storms drop a lot of rain in these urban areas. It's possible you're going to be dealing with some localized urban flooding, street flooding. So do keep that in mind as well. If you happen to be, headed out to the roadways coming up here shortly, you might be dealing with some heavier rain. We heard it in downtown Minneapolis, so it's still a possibility, especially as you head further to the east. We're in the St. Paul area. We're still underneath that severe thunderstorm warning in place, and I can actually zoom in a little bit closer. Those of you in Woodbury, the storm's starting to push in your region just further off to the west as well. Still underneath the severe thunderstorm warning in the Woodbury area, and we have that severe thunderstorm warning again. It goes till 8:45. That's for Dakota, Hennepin, Ramsey, and Washington counties. I still think the main threat that we're going to watch with this would be that golf ball size hail. So you're watching that just start to push into the Woodbury area. Let's zoom in a little bit closer. We can get into fine detail of where the strongest part of the storm is moving in. Those of you in the St. Paul area and also North St. Paul, this is where we have the heavy rain that's pushing through. And then let's check back in with the hail. Latest update with that hail core, quarter size hail. So in the St. Paul area, you do have the potential of seeing quarter size hail starting to push into your area. It's closer back to the pea-size hail, but those of you in Woodbury, this storm is off to your west. And again, it's moving from west to east at 35 miles per hour. So you do have the potential of some of this hail that could be pushing into your area coming up here very shortly. Let's take you back to the reflectivity and let's zoom out again. This is where we have the one severe thunderstorm warning that is in place. Again, it's stretching the main reflectivity from the storm. Woodbury off to the back to the west, the red. When we look at this, that means the potential for heavy rain, and then also the hail that could be embedded in this that I just showed you there. Stillwater, you're starting to see some of the heavy rain push in as well. Those of you in Inver Grove Heights, that's where we have the moderate rainfall starting to push in also. It'd be, like I was saying, we have the potential of dealing with some urban flooding on the roadways. So Derek, are you seeing any flooding when it comes to any of our cameras out there?
We're definitely noticing a lot of people that are out there right now and hiding under some of the underpasses across the area. You can see some folks with their flashers on pulled over under this bridge here, 94 westbound at Dale Street. And you can see some other folks are continuing to try to drive through with those center lanes, the two center lanes. But then you've got people off on the far left and right lanes there. We're going to switch over and show you one of the other cameras. It looks like we just lost that camera there. Also wanted to mention to you, Lisa, we've noticed here in downtown Minneapolis at our studios, which are at 11th and Nicollet, that things have really let up quite a bit. And even 10 minutes ago, where we might have had some larger hail, we had someone bring in some pea-size hail from outside. I also noticed that these current storms are moving at about, I think you said 35 miles per hour,
yes,
which is a little bit different than some of the tornado-warned storms that we saw earlier. Those were going through at 45, 50 miles an hour. So probably a bigger flash flood threat for these areas?
That's definitely a possibility. I also want to mention, please do not pull over on the side of the highway underneath an overpass.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
When there are storms, we almost just saw a collision on air right there. That is dangerous. That is not what you're supposed to do. You want to exit the interstates. You want to get off the road. Do not pull into an underpass. Also, if this were a tornado warning, tornadoes increase wind speeds underneath those overpasses. It makes it actually more dangerous to be there. Not to mention, yes, I know you don't want hail damage on your car, but you also do not want to get your car totaled from a car wreck, and that is what you are setting yourself up to. Please do not do that. You want to exit the road. I understand we have this hail threat here, but that's what you want to do. Here's the reason why people are out driving and thinking, okay, we have the issue with the roadways because of the heavy rain that we're seeing and also the hail. And that's probably the main thing that a lot of people are, of course, concerned about. Just don't want to be on the roadways right now, especially as we look into this area. Still underneath the severe thunderstorm warning, Dakota, Hennepin, Ramsey, Washington County till 8:45 p.m. We're still looking at the heavy rain, which is indicated in the red here, the stronger reflectivity as we look closer to St. Paul. Those of you in Woodbury, you're going to start to see some of the heavier rain push in. And let's check in with that hail estimate. Again, you can look at the radar picture and it can give you a good estimate as to what you're going to be seeing with the hail. Good news is, latest radar estimate of hail size is starting to diminish the size. It's an estimate, but it is good. Again, this storm back into Plymouth did drop golf ball size hail that prompted severe thunderstorm warning. That has been, latest radar scans have continued to diminish the size there, going down to more so pea-size hail. So that means your risk of seeing the larger hail has diminished. It hasn't gone away. You're still underneath the severe thunderstorm warning. Until the severe thunderstorm warning expires or until it moves to your east, you're still looking at those severe weather threats. But at least we have taken it back to that, at least downgraded maybe the potential for any of that hail. We're seeing that at least with our latest radar scans. Yes, like Derek said, there's some heavy rain coming out of this. We do not have any flash flood warnings in place yet, but especially when you get heavy rain like this falling, it is possible that you could be dealing with some flooding on the roadways. So that is still something that you really have to watch out for, of course, as these storms continue to push through, especially when they're moving through the urban areas like what we're seeing at least in downtown Minneapolis. Also, as we look out to locations further like the Twin Cities. So I wanted to check in with that rain rate to see exactly how heavy some of this rainfall is falling in some of these locations, and we can look at it by this tool right here, and this does show that rain rate still falling. It says 1 inch, maybe an inch, 2 inch, 1¼ inch of rain per hour. So that does go to show that we have the heavy rain that is definitely in place. When it comes to that severe thunderstorm warning, again, it is still here, including St. Paul, North St. Paul, the higher reflectivity, which indicates the heavy rainfall starting to push into Woodbury. The severe thunderstorm warning is still in place for these counties. Dakota, we'll say mainly further off to the east though, right? Because here's Minneapolis. Here's the back edge of the severe thunderstorm warning storm. So Mendota Heights, you're still in the severe thunderstorm warning. You're surely noticing the thunder, the lightning, and also the heavy rain. Same deal for St. Paul as we look out to North St. Paul. We can get a little bit closer to this severe thunderstorm warning storm, take you to Woodbury. That's where we're starting to see some of the heavy rain push in from the west. Also watching out into Lake Elmo. And those of you in Stillwater, you guys are on the north edge of this severe thunderstorm warning storm, but you're still probably noticing the heavy rain that is pushing in also. The one thing that we're going to have to watch again is that hail size. And again, the one positive aspect of this is that the latest radar scans have actually taken that hail size down. And so we're actually kind of seeing that hail threat weaken at least a little bit. It's gone from, at one point it was in the green, it was golf ball size hail, that has dropped down to even pea size hail. So still looking at heavy rain, strong winds, and also pea size hail moving along 94 that could be making its way closer to the Woodbury area at this time. But I do think the one positive aspect is that that hail threat's starting to diminish with this specific warning. Derek, do you have something?
Yeah, I've got a little bit of information about XL Energy and power outages. Right now, reporting 817 outages impacting 56,498 customers right now. And that is primarily based on the map that I was just looking at, Minneapolis and St. Paul, and then some smaller outages further west where we saw some of those storms earlier this evening, about an hour and a half ago or so. Let's show you a couple of the cameras and some of the video that we have. First, I believe we have a piece of video. Is this? No. This isn't the video from Dennis. Okay, so we're looking at St. Paul here. Oh, so this is the video from Dennis. Okay, so you can see here, St. Paul still very active. You've got the intense lightning. You've got the very strong winds moving right now through there. But if we take a look at Minneapolis right now, it has quieted down considerably. You can still see just a couple of raindrops on our camera here, downtown Minneapolis, but we don't have any heavy rain falling now. Doesn't appear to be windy. We're actually seeing the visibility improving quite a bit as these storms now continue to move off to the east. And obviously, if you are in line of these storms or you have the ability to safely take any images, any video, you can send it to us right now, WCCO.com/photos, and we're able to turn those and bring them to our viewers pretty quickly here on the air. But again, keep in mind, you want to be safe, and especially in these areas where there's still the potential of hail. Lisa, not as large as what we were seeing before, but you definitely do not want to be outside in that right now.
Correct. And so Minneapolis out of the severe thunderstorm warning now. St. Paul still under severe thunderstorm warning. I just covered that here. New severe thunderstorm warning as we head to the South Metro. Want to highlight for you guys in Belle Plaine. I'm sure you're hearing the heavy rain outside right now. We do have this severe thunderstorm warning that is in place. You could see, zooming in closer, just to the south of Shakopee. This is where our radar is located, in case you're wondering. Sometimes it can impact our radar scans. Obviously, closer to the radar does influence that. But this is the latest severe thunderstorm warning as we look closer to the South Metro. So for those of you in Carver, Scott, and Sibley counties, you're underneath a severe thunderstorm warning. This goes until 9:15 p.m. This is for the storm that you see right here. It's in Belle Plaine. It's moving to the east. This one's 30 miles per hour. So we went from 50-mile-per-hour tornado warned storms back off to the west. Those have all died out. We do not have any tornado warnings in place now. And as the storms have pushed into the Twin Cities metro metro area. They have dropped down to 35. Now this one is moving at 30 miles per hour, and this is moving to the east. Now the main threat with this would be that ping pong ball size hail and also 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So notice the severe thunderstorm warning does include Prior Lake going down to Newmarket. You're just on the cusp of this here in New Prague. Those of you in Jordan, storms really on the approach. And you can see along 169 as well. Those of you in Belle Plaine, I'm sure you are really noticing the heavy rain, a lot of lightning with this. Let's check in with the hail estimate. So in Belle Plaine, you have the potential of golf ball size hail. This storm's moving to your east at to the east at 30. So this storm has the potential of golf ball size hail starting to make its way into your area, coming up here pretty much immediately. And let's go ahead and turn back to reflectivity, and I'll time this out for those of you in the severe thunderstorm warned area so you can get an idea of when this severe storm will be making its way into your region. Also, by the way, want to watch for that potential of heavy rain, but also that large hail that could be pushing through. So as we move this to the east, the timing for those of you in Jordan, like I said, you're under the severe thunderstorm warning. The estimate of this arrival time coming in here at 8:37 p.m. Sand Creek, 8:42 p.m. Looking out to Spring Lake at 8:57 p.m. Prior Lake about 9:02 is when the storm will move in. And again, you could see the stronger reflectivity out into the Belle Plaine area. Also, the radar estimate shows that golf ball size hail. So if it stays with this intensity, that's where the golf ball size hail could make its way. I think it's a lot more likely for Belle Plaine than Jordan, but Jordan, you're close enough to where you have that potential. Let's go ahead and check back to the St. Paul region where we did have that severe thunderstorm warning. It's still in place right now. That storm is starting to push into Woodbury. So those of you in the Woodbury region, also out into Stillwater, you're right where we have some of the reflectivity showing some of the heavy rain in place. The severe thunderstorm warning right up along the line from Hudson down to Afton. Those of you in St. Paul, you're starting to see the storm pass, although still some of the heavier rain further off to the south. And when it comes to the estimated hail size with this, again, we're starting to kind of see it weaken, thankfully, with the estimate of hail size. Pea-size hail more so headed toward Woodbury, as opposed to the golf ball size hail that we were seeing a little bit more likely further to the west that was reported out into the Plymouth region. Up closer into Stillwater, though, very possibly you could see some pea-size hail pushing into your region coming up here. And again, this severe thunderstorm warning is in place for the St. Paul area, all of the county, or excuse me, all of the locations off to the east here. This severe thunderstorm warning, they're letting it go until 8:45 p.m. And again, watching for that large hail with that storm. I'm going to go ahead and take you out, and there are still storms off to the west. So I know we already had our storms, the heavy storms move through downtown Minneapolis. The severe thunderstorm watch goes till midnight. And there are still storms off to the west. And obviously, we're still seeing some severe weather parameters with this. For example, the one further off to the south. And I also want to even take a look in the western part of the state. If you look just to the south of Montevideo, that's where we do have still more severe thunderstorm warnings and also some tornado warnings just back to the west out into South Dakota there. There is a flash flood warning in place. That's another threat that we still have to watch. Again, anytime these storms go, bringing a lot of moisture with them across the urban areas, that's something that we'll have to watch. The severe thunderstorm warnings, though, that are back to the west, kind of call it upstream of the Twin Cities because storms are moving west to east. We still have a couple of these severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place. This one's just to the south of Montevideo, Sacred Heart, and then you can see the heavier rain associated with this just to the west of Olivia. You guys are going to be noticing that shortly. And then between Montevideo and Cottonwood is where we're seeing that stronger reflectivity with a severe thunderstorm warning in place for these counties until 8:45 p.m. And again, watching for that ping pong ball size hail and also 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And we can check in with that hail estimate to see where the main hail core is. It's between Montevideo and Cottonwood, where we have that potential of quarter-size hail that we'll have to watch with that storm. I'm going to take us back out, and let's take us back to the metro. So again, when we have the estimated hail size, you can see where we have the 2 severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place. One just to the east of Minneapolis. We were just talking about this flash flood warning in place right now. So let's take you closer to the St. Paul area. So this is to the east of Minneapolis. Here's where we have the flash flood warning. It's blue. The flash flood warnings are blue polygons. So this does include St. Paul going out to Lake Elmo, Oakdale, and also out into Stillwater. Looking at the flash flood warning that's in place for these counties. They just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning in place. So we will real quick check in on the flash flood warning. Again, flash flood warning goes past midnight. They're calling this for Ramsey and also Washington counties. That's because of the heavy rain that we've seen, and they're also getting reports of flash flooding that is occurring. So about 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches of rainfall coming over the urban areas. Can't keep up with drainage of that. So flash flood warning going past midnight. It's going to be dark. It's hard to see this, of course. Turn around if you come across a flooded out roadway. That's for Ramsey and also Washington counties. So we have that flash flood threat that we were just talking about. I also want to look at that new severe thunderstorm warning threat, an update basically to the previous severe thunderstorm warning that we were watching there. So here's where we have the severe thunderstorm warning against to the east of Minneapolis. Minneapolis, for now, you're done. The storm that we did have come through downtown Minneapolis, it's pushed to the east. There are storms upstream to the west, and until the severe thunderstorm watch is dropped, we're not going to say you're in the clear. But the current severe thunderstorm warning is to the east of Minneapolis, but it does include Twin Cities. Severe thunderstorm warning in place until 8:45 for Dakota, Ramsey, and also Washington counties. You can see 1.25 inch hail is something that we'll be watching there. $half size hail and also 60-mile-per-hour winds. This storm is moving to the east at 35 miles per hour. So this is where we have the severe thunderstorm warning that will continue. When it comes to some of the heavier rain, you could see that is starting to push to the east of St. Paul. And I want to see that update. So they did pull St. Paul has been dropped out of the severe thunderstorm warning. North St. Paul, you're just on the west of this. St. Paul, North St. Paul, flash flood warning still in place. It's going to take some time to drain some of that. Flooded out roadways are possible. If you were thinking you were going to go somewhere tonight, it's possible you're going to come across flooded roadways. Of course, do not want to do that. Want to turn around. But you guys are under the flash flood warning. Right now, the severe thunderstorm warning has been pushed off to the east. It's now for Washington County until 8:45 p.m. So it does still include those of you close to Woodbury, Lake Elmo, also out into Stillwater, Afton. You're going to start to notice some of the heavier rain pushing in coming up here shortly. And then I want to check back in with the hail potential with this. The good news is the hail potentials really continue to drop off. You guys might still be seeing some pea-sized hail into Stillwater, but our radar estimate has dropped off. Do we have any more cameras looking out across some of the urban areas to see some of this flooding? I'll say that the St. Paul area, which is where we have the flash flood warning. So let's take a look to the St. Paul area where we have some of this. Again, it's kind of hard to see, of course, with the dark skies, but we do have that heavy rain pushing through. And then at ground level, it is possible that you could be dealing with some flash flooding. And the flash flood warning does go until, going basically until 12:30 When it comes to the Stillwater traffic camera, we can take a look at that one because that is where we do have some of the heavier rain. It's coming in right now across it. Look at that. So not only are you seeing the heavy rain come through, you're seeing the wind blowing some of this heavy rain as well. In a way, watching for some urban flooding on some of those roadways, of course, but noticing the heavy rain, you could see the strength of some of those winds blowing that as well. It looks like traffic is coming along at least okay at this time. But still, again, there is a flash flood warning in place for these counties. I'll take you to that. So for Ramsey and Washington counties, that's where we're underneath the flash flood warning that is in place for that area. So those of you in Minneapolis, storms have pushed to your east. Those of you in North St. Paul and St. Paul, you're under a flash flood warning because of the heavy rain that's in place. And then there is still a severe thunderstorm warning for this storm that's just pushing through Washington County until 8:45 p.m. And you can see where we have the heavy rain that is falling there as well. I'm going to zoom us out and I'm going to take us back down closer for those of you in Belle Plaine. Notice where we still have the severe thunderstorm warning that is in place. This is it right here. Belle Plaine, your storm's moved through. Jordan, storm is pushing into your area right now. Also pushing along 169. Those of you in Prior Lake, Cedar Lake, Newmarket, you're underneath a severe thunderstorm warning. And that severe thunderstorm warning, Carver, Scott counties until 9:15 p.m. We'll continue to watch the potential for ping pong ball size hail and also 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this storm. This storm is moving to the east, again, 30 miles per hour, so I can time that out for you. If you are to the east of this storm that's right now pushing into Jordan right now, then we can time out when the storm will be pushing towards you. Timing of this, Sand Creek, 8:42 p.m. Marystown, 8:49 p.m. Spring Lake, 9 p.m. Prior Lake, 9:06 p.m. And as we continue to zoom this out and take a look at basically, I want to take a look at all of the metro area and make sure we just have the 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in place. I would not be surprised if we see the severe thunderstorm warning for the St. Paul region drop. Like I said, it did. So the severe thunderstorm warning for the St. Paul area has dropped. When it comes to the flash flood warning, that is still in place across this area. That goes again till 12:30. So we're going to have to wait till we get drainage basically of those roadways. And then as we look further off to the south, we do still have the severe thunderstorm warning that is in place. I'm going to go ahead and leave you with this and we can take you back to regular programming on television. Those of you, again, just want to make sure Carver, Scott County at 9:15 p.m. You are underneath that severe thunderstorm warning as that storm does move to the east. Also, we have the severe thunderstorm watch that is in place for all of these counties. It does go until midnight. For the metro, up to the north, they're taking it to about 1. Join us on CBS News Minnesota, and I'll continue to follow the severe weather, and we'll break back in here on television if we get more warnings in the metro area. Thank you for joining us here on CBS News Minnesota, or staying with us here on CBS News Minnesota. We wanted to make sure we covered this severe thunderstorm warnings, the severe thunderstorm warnings that were in place across the St. Paul area and basically the Twin Cities. Just that we had ping pong ball size hail that was reported in Plymouth. And so that was the reason that we needed to break in on TV and let you guys know of that threat. But now we're going to show you where we have the flash flood and also still the severe thunderstorm warning that's in place. So I'm going to go ahead and loop this And here's where we have, this is where I'm going to have to watch for the what we call training of storms, and that would increase the flash flood issue. We've already had storms that did move through this area, right? We had basically repeated severe thunderstorm warnings in place in this area. Now we're seeing more storms ride over the same area. That's what we call training, like a train. A lot of storms and heavy rain going over the same area, and so that does allow the potential for seeing some flash flooding. Right now we have 2 regions that are underneath the flash flooding, underneath flash flood warnings. We'll go ahead and take a look a little bit closer to the St. Paul area. Still the flash flood warning. They have, the National Weather Service has this going until 12:30 a.m. So just 30 minutes past midnight is the warning on this. And that's because we are seeing some reports of flooding at ground level here in urban areas. So that's something that we'll have to continue to watch there. I'm checking in to see any reports. So there is some flooding being reported in some of these locations, like Highway 36. There are stalled cars in some locations actually being reported in some of these spots. So we are really seeing some flooding in a lot of those locations. That's a report that we're getting. So that would indicate why there was the flash flood warning that's in place, and understandably so, that there'd be a flash flood warning. So again, till 12:30 for Ramsey and Washington counties, we have that flash flood warning for St. Paul. Also, as we look out to Stillwater, we can check in and see what the rainfall rate is with some of these storms, and get an idea. Again, I did this earlier, and this will give us kind of a better idea. 1.5, getting 2 inches per hour of rainfall here on locations like St. Paul urban areas. Obviously, you're going to be getting some potential flooding. We are getting reports of flooding. Let's go and check back in. There is still this severe thunderstorm warning that's in place. And also, I want to get a little bit closer to Inver Grove Heights as well. You guys are not underneath the severe thunderstorm warning, but you're probably seeing some heavy rain in place from Inver Grove Heights back off to the west between Mendota Heights, also to the south of South St. Paul, where we have some of this heavy rain in place. And I'm going to go ahead and loop this for us, loop this radar picture so we can get a closer look at these storms that are, again, pushing in from west to east. They're mainly about 30 miles per hour that we're watching those storms push through. It does look like we still have the severe thunderstorm warning, though, in place across. Oh, okay, there we go. So they dropped the severe thunderstorm warning out in the Woodbury area, and our current warning status. Flash flood warning, and we're getting reports of flooding in St. Paul. If you were going to hit the roads, now's not the time out into where we have the flash flood warning. Still want to look in here where we have the severe thunderstorm warning for those of you in Carver and Scott counties. This is ping pong ball size hail and also 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So here's where Carver, Scott counties till 9:15, you have the severe thunderstorm warning that is in place. Let's zoom in a little bit close and let's time this out for you guys, because you do have that potential. First, let's show you that. Again, it's a radar estimate of hail, so keep that in mind. We can only tell you what observations come into, like the National Weather Service and such. But when it comes to our current hail estimate, those of you in Jordan, you are looking at on the approach to quarter-size hail, close to 169 there. And again, this storm is pushing to the east. So we can take your reflectivity and we can time this out. For those of you in Prior Lake, you're looking at a severe thunderstorm right on your doorstep. It'll be moving in here very shortly. And here's the timing of that. Prior Lake, 8:57 p.m. 9:08 for Credit River, Cedar Lake, 9:15 p.m. Derek, do you have a check of, are you seeing any more flooding?
We are seeing a lot of heavy rain in Roseville. We want to take you to one of our traffic cameras there where the rain is still coming down pretty good, and you've got some rain over the roadway. You've got police directing traffic in this area right now, so it looks like they've actually closed off a part of the road there. You can see that there must be some water in the roadway causing a problem there. Unfortunately, we're unable to move this camera further up to show you what's happening back there, but you can see here at 36 westbound at Fairview Avenue, you've got police closing off part of the roadway. It does look like, if you look at the left-hand side where there's that other emergency vehicle, looks like a lot of standing water there in the middle of that roadway. And this is probably a scene that we're seeing across much of the metro right now. After, as Lisa mentioned, some of these areas seeing 2 to 3 inches of rain in a very short period of time. But this is what it looks like right now in Roseville. If you don't have to be on the roads right now in any of these areas that have already seen storms or are to the east of here where more storms are going to be rolling through, would not be a good idea to get on the roads right now. We also have an update from XL Energy as it comes to the outages right now. Currently, there are 1,048 outages affecting over 65,000 customers. The majority are north and west of downtown Minneapolis, and that's followed at the last look at the map by St. Paul. During a tornado, as we did have some tornado warnings tonight, again, radar indicated, important to go through and do these things. If we were to get another tornado to develop here, as we continue to watch these severe thunderstorms, you want to go to the basement or an interior room away from windows. If you're outside, you want to get inside. So if you're watching east of some of these storms that are rolling through right now, if you know anyone that is outdoors right now, make sure they get inside. And then back to the driving. You want to seek an indoor shelter if possible. This, of course, is in the case of a tornado, but otherwise you don't want to be stopping underneath these overpasses and causing more traffic issues here tonight. Let's talk about what to do after a tornado. These are some advice from our next weather team. First of all, stay informed, because as we've seen tonight, multiple rounds of storms are possible. Just because one storm clears your area doesn't mean you're completely in the clear until we tell you so. Important to contact family. Text and social media are going to be more reliable than phones. If there are any sort of outages related to these storms, we mentioned the power outages that are currently in effect. And then assess damage. Wear sturdy shoes, call about down power lines, and stay out of damaged buildings. On top of that, we've talked a lot about the intense hail that we've seen with some of these storms tonight. So it's important to make sure that you are documenting that through pictures, the date, the time, and then getting to your insurance company, maybe calling them either tonight or first thing tomorrow to make sure that you're making them aware that you have damage related to some of that hail or even wind damage from these storms. And finally, help out neighbors. If anyone is injured in one of these storms, offer first aid until help arrives. We want to go back to Lisa now and get an update on where these storms are, some of the flooding concerns, and any other threats that we're dealing with right now.
Right. I think flooding is something we'll have to watch. I had previously mentioned this, and now we're seeing more reports of a flood concern in Roseville. We're seeing at 36 in Fairview in Roseville, police have actually blocked that area off due to what I believe is flooding, because we're getting reports of significant flooding in that area, which would line up with what we're seeing right here on the radar. So again, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning that's in place, or excuse me, the flash flood warning that's in place. Again, tornado warnings, everyone pays attention. Severe thunderstorm warning, pay attention, kind of. And then flash flood warnings, you have to take just as serious, because notice that we're seeing impacts on the roads, and we're getting reports of flooded out roadways in Roseville. That is why there's the flash flood warning. And let me show you where we have the flash flood warning that's in place. So the flash flood warning is this blue polygon. That's what a flash flood warning is. And the warning counties include Ramsey, Washington counties. It says observed because we're getting the reports of the flash flood warning. But the flash flood warning includes from Stillwater, Hudson, back from Woodbury, also St. Paul. And then again, like I had told you, we'd previously just seen out into the Roseville area where we had reports at least of flooding. Now in the St. Paul area, that's where we're starting to see another pocket of heavy rain that'll be pushing into the area here coming up here shortly. This storm, the storms that moved through here dropped about 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches of rainfall very fast. And so that has left flooding in this area. And then notice we're still seeing more rain pushing through. So this is the area. It goes till 12:30 past midnight, the flash flood warning. So until it drains off, there could be some road concerns there. The other area that we're watching, again, would be where we have the severe thunderstorm warning, and we're taking you to the south of the metro for that, and that is in the south metro. So as we get closer, this severe thunderstorm warning box has shrunk as the storm has pushed to the east. So Jordan, now you're just to the west of the latest of the severe thunderstorm warning box. I'm going to take you a little bit closer to the severe thunderstorm warning. Again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning that is in place. Let's see, this is for Scott counties now, until Scott County until 9:15 p.m. You could see the heavy rain with this in Lydia. Also Prior Lake, this storm is starting to push in. You can see here's where we have our radar. So if the radar picture looks a little funky, that's why, because you're getting close to where the actual source of this picture is coming from. But we are still nevertheless seeing some of this heavy rain that'll be pushing into Lydia. And again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning for 1-inch diameter hail. This storm is moving to the east, just like some of the recent storms at 30 miles per hour. So those of you in Cedar Lake, the heavy rain, the potential for 1-inch diameter hail on the way. Same deal for those of you in Prior Lake. It's right on the doorstep pretty much for those of you that are in the Lydia area. Let's take you to the metro and let's check back in with some of our severe thunderstorm warnings and also still a flash flood warning. I believe we have a crew actually headed out to the Roseville area because of some of that flash flooding that is in place. But this box does include going out to Woodbury, also Stillwater. So again, if you plan on traveling anywhere within this between now and 12:30, you have the potential of dealing with flooded out roadways. Turn around, don't drown. That's what we always say. Do not drive across a flooded roadway. It's not worth your life, and you're very well going to mess up your car. It just makes more sense to turn around, right? Let's go ahead. I want to check in with really the entire area and see where we're at with some of these warnings, because we have the flash flood warning here. Just off to the east of St. Paul. The one severe thunderstorm warning to the south, quiet till you hit the back western part of the state of Minnesota. That is where we still have some of these severe thunderstorm warnings and also still flash flood warning in place. So those of you in Marshall, that's where we do have another severe thunderstorm warning that's in place. Of course, that is for Lincoln Line counties until 9 p.m. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And then notice just to the west of this, right across the state line, another severe thunderstorm warning. Got a couple of polygons kind of overlapping here, and then they threw that tornado warning in place there too. So that is to your west, which is what we call upstream. Storms moving west to east, so you're not done with these storms. As we look back closer to the metro area, we have that flash flood warning that probably is going to stick around until they get the flooding that is drained out of there, or again, it goes until 12:30. And then we still just have the one severe thunderstorm warning. It's to the west of those of you in Lakeville. So if you're in Lakeville, this is to your west. Again, the storm's moving to the east at 30 miles per hour, so it's very possible that the storm will be moving in here, coming up here close. Here's where we have that severe thunderstorm warning. So this, other than the flash flood warning, this is the only other severe thunderstorm warning that we have in the metro area. Still a severe thunderstorm warning in place for Scott County until 9:15 p.m. Looking at the potential of quarter-size hail with this storm as it continues to push to the east. So you're seeing it in Lydia. It's just to the west of Cedar Lake. It's just to the west of Prior Lake, and it's pushing to the east. And we can time this out for you guys, as I'm going to go ahead and even highlight kind of the heavier rain there in the red, so we can at least put locations like Grainwood in here at 9:01, Prior Lake 9:07. And as we head out to Newmarket, 939, we'll see if it still holds together. And let's go ahead and check in with the hail potential, the hail track with this, see if, or excuse me, the hail estimate. So we are still getting close to that golf ball size hail. Those of you south of Lydia, that's where we have green as the golf ball radar estimate. So you still have that potential of golf ball size hail with this storm. Damage to vehicles possible, and if it holds, then those of you just to the north of Newmarket, between Newmarket and also Prior Lake to the west of I-35, that's where this storm is headed. So we'll continue to watch this push to the east, and if it holds, then you're still looking at that severe thunderstorm and the hail threat that will continue to push into your area. Thrown in there shortly. All right, let's go ahead and take you back out and let's make sure we have everyone covered with all of the warnings. In the metro area, we have the flash flood warning still in place, looking across from Stillwater back to St. Paul basically, and then further off to the south, we have the one severe thunderstorm warning that is in place. Slowly zooming this out. Again, gonna have to watch for that flood potential. That could be an issue for all of these locations where you have the repeated rainfall taking you from the flash flood warning back to the south. And then this is where we have the repeated rain just to the south of Highway 12 here, continuing all the way in across the South Metro, thrown in there too. So this is the latest with the warnings that are in place. We just have the flash flood warning. I shouldn't say just. We have the flash flood. That's going from tornado warnings down to flash flood. Flash flood warning for St. Paul. Again, we're getting reports of flooding occurring in the Roseville area. And anytime that you do have a flash flood warning like this in place, that's when you do have that potential for dealing with flooded out roadways. Turn around. That's what you need to do if you come across this. And I guess the one positive aspect is we're starting to see the reflectivity of the radar diminish. So the heavier rainfall likelihood is dropping off. That being said, it takes time to drain this, right? That's why the flash flood warning goes until 12:30 for all these locations here in this blue Ramsey and also Washington counties underneath that flash flood issue from Stillwater, Hudson, back through North St. Paul, including St. Paul, and then to the south of Shoreview. Moral of the story here, if you're hitting the roads and you plan on driving through this box, you probably want to hold off. And I mean, really, you're going to be dealing with dark conditions you can't see, and also we have reports of flooding in this area. So if you can, I would definitely hold off, wait till tomorrow to do anything. Let's check back in with our severe thunderstorm warning off to the south. Still holding strong with that one there. Looking down across right now, the Newmarket area, it's just off to your west. Cedar Lake, you're probably noticing some of the heavy rain that's starting to push in. And then Lydia is still dealing with the heavy rain, and then Prior Lake also. This is that severe thunderstorm warning that is in place for Scott County until 9:15. 1-inch diameter hail, the main threat with this. And of course, we're looking at the we've been watching the hail form with a lot of these storms. In the one storm that we had closer to the Plymouth area, that is where we did have that golf ball size hail that was reported. Latest when it comes to the golf ball size hail, that's here from between Cedar Lake and Lydia. We are seeing this report of estimate, excuse me, of golf ball size hail. This is via radar that's in place. You can see it right smack dab in this severe thunderstorm warning. So that is why that severe thunderstorm warning is in place. So again, we're going to take that severe thunderstorm warning, show it to you, and zoom out a little bit more so we can check back in with any of these other kind of strong, what we call stronger reflectivity patterns on radar. Still not seeing any warnings in place, severe thunderstorm warnings in place, other than the two that we have, the one down in the metro and then, or South Metro, excuse me, and then the one across flash flooding issue. Derek, do you have some good reminders for folks out there?
Yeah, especially when we're talking about thunderstorms. During a storm, straight line winds can be as destructive as a tornado. You've been talking about some of those gusts, Lisa, of upwards of 60 miles per hour with the thunderstorms. Move inside a sturdy shelter and stay away from windows. Sheds and storage facilities are not safe places. Do not go into large open rooms like gymnasiums, auditoriums. Being in a vehicle, safer than being outside, but drive to the closest sturdy shelter if time and conditions allow. And of course, turn around, don't drown, something we have talked about throughout the night. Never drive through those flooded roadways. Just a foot of water will cause most vehicles to float. 2 feet of rushing water can carry away most vehicles, and it is illegal to drive around barricades. Of course, we're going to continue to follow this next weather alert. We have over 65,000 people in Minnesota that are Xcel Energy customers currently without power. The majority of those have been in the metro, especially in and around Minneapolis and St. Paul, where we've had a lot of gusty winds. We've also had a lot of hail, and of course, it's varied in size throughout this entire storm system as it's rolled through here tonight. But there could be some major damage that people are going to wake up to tomorrow, Lisa, and it's very important that they document all of this for their insurance. We've seen in recent years that we've had more hail than ever across the state of Minnesota due to some of these weather extremes. And in some cases, insurance companies are becoming more difficult to work with. So you really have to make sure you document everything, including the day, the time, take any photos or video that you can, and contact that company as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Thank you, Derek. That is such a great reminder. The things we're seeing here are the tornado threat is actually diminished quite a bit. And truthfully, we're overall seeing a downward trend with these storms. So we still have the flash flood warning in place. We still have the severe thunderstorm warning in place, the potential for a golf ball size hail across the South Metro. But we're seeing a downward trend with the severity of the storms. Still underneath the severe thunderstorm watch. Anytime there's a watch in place, you have to stay prepped and ready. Any of the storms could produce severe weather as we go throughout the rest of this evening. That also does not take away the flash flood threat, especially since we've already had rain. We have more storms coming through those same areas. Again, the flash flood warning that is in place. I'll recap this one more time just so that we're all aware of this. This again is looking out to Ramsey and Washington counties. We've gotten reports of locations like Roseville seeing flash flooding occurring. So flash flood warning, potential for flash flooding for this area goes until 12:30 a.m. and we still have that potential. But storms are moving fast enough to where we're starting to mitigate that flash flood threat at least a little bit more. And then we still have the one severe thunderstorm warning that is in place. Again, it's just to the west of Lakeville. And it's moved past for you guys in Lydia, Scott County under that severe thunderstorm warning for 1-inch diameter hail. Those of you in New Market, Cedar Lake, or between Prior Lake and New Market, storm will be pushing into your area, that potential for 1-inch diameter hail. Otherwise, we have the severe thunderstorm watch. The latest on that, it does go again until midnight for these counties. It was basically until 1 a.m. for these counties, so we'll see if that does hold. We're going to go ahead and get ready for the 10 o'clock news, and you can, of course, join us right here on CBS News Minnesota, WCCO, for the latest on that. We'll regroup, and if there are any other warnings that are in place, any other significant weather events, we'll, of course, join you right back here on CBS News Minnesota. In the meantime,